Hey everyone, Saurav here. Today we are going to see how we can integrate net banking into our checkout pages. So let's suppose that you have some product, maybe a monitor in this example, and you're trying to collect payment from customer using net banking via cash free. So how can we integrate it? So let's visit docs.cashfree.com, and here in payment gateway section, you can see we have JS component integration v3. So this document basically talks about how you can integrate net banking, cards, UPI, all these. In our terms, we call it components. So how you can integrate these components. Today, our video is going to be focused around net banking. So if you see available components, you do have. If you see on the right, you have card, UPI, wallet, net banking. So we will visit net banking. But before we do anything, if you see in get started, we need to add the script tag to our HTML page. So let's suppose if I copy it here, and if you can see my VS Code on top, yep. So yeah, in here inside the head tag, we have included the cache-free SDK script, and this is the script of my JavaScript. Script tag for my JavaScript that I have locally. Now heading back here. So now that we have included script tag in our document, in our HTML, we want to use net banking. So let's visit net banking. Here you see there are a couple of things that you need to do. These things can be divided into step, and essentially it's going to be about four steps that you need to take care of. The first being you need to include the SDK script in your HTML, and the second being you need to initialize the object of cache free. So how you can do it, you will need to do this. You'll need to call a constructor function by passing it a mode, which could be sandbox or production. So sandbox is the testing environment that we have, and production is the actual production server. You can hit through it. So once you have done that, you can then, once you have done this, you then need to create a net banking object out of it. And this basically this function dot create, it takes two arguments. The first being the name of the component. So in this case, it is net banking. Let's suppose if you are trying to collect payment using UPI, in that case, it would be something different that we can also see. Here it is UPI collect. For wallet, it is wallet. So now that we understand this part, then there is another object that needs to be passed as an argument, and basically this object takes the values. We do have a couple of options for it. I'll show that to you in my code. So this is the option that we are passing, this object. It takes value. This is the only mandatory parameter needed. And these fonts, classes, style, disable, loader, they are not mandatory. They are basically to facilitate you trying to style the component. We will be focusing on mandatory part. Now let's suppose you want to accept the payment via HDFC. So yeah, now let's suppose you want to accept the payment via HDFC. And so in that case, what are the names that you need to pass, right? That can be found here. You see, these are all the bank names along with their code. In this example, we want to pass HDFCR. If you see it, mm, okay, let's suppose, yeah. So here's the HDFC thing. That's what we are passing. And this is the button text. Well, right now you are not seeing the button, so that will not make much sense, but I'll show that to you. So once you have done that, you have basically created this thing and then you need to mount it to a div. So if you see here, I have added HDFCR. This is nothing but a div with ID of this, which is present here. Okay. Now on click of this button, I'm handling the event click. So on click of this button, I'm calling the order pay thing. And here cash-free.pay, and here I'll be passing this another object, and it will have a couple of things. First thing being payment method, which is essentially going to be this one. And then you have payment session ID and return URL. So for payment session ID, you can obtain it from here. Yes, and this expires too, so you need to have the latest one. Now that you have it here, and for the return URL part, this is the URL where you would like your customer to be redirected once the payment has been successful. So cashfree.pay basically returns you a promise, which you can handle using .dem and .catch block. Here we can see the response from order pay, and you can decide on what exactly you want to do if the order pay failed or whatever happened. And here I have the catch block. So now that I have updated the payment session ID, let's see what happens when we click on buy now. We are redirected here to cash free. Uh, I mean, to HDFC payments, HDFC Bank net banking page, and we can click on simulate success. And essentially, this is your redirect URL that you had supplied to us here. Now, let's suppose you want to accept the payment via ICICI Bank. In that case, what we can do, first let's visit our local, yep, yeah, so let's visit our local server and then here we can, yep, we can see ICICI Bank, right? Let's paste it here. Button text. Since the button is not visible to you, so it doesn't make much sense now, but I'll show that to you. And we need to get a payment session ID. This expires. All right, now that we are here, clicking on this should take us to ICICI Bank net banking page, right? Now I'll talk about something else. Let's suppose right now you did not see anything related to net banking icons and buttons so far. Let's suppose if you wanted to see that, I'll show you another example. So in this case, when we click on buy now, I'm taking the user to another page where the user has options to select which net banking, which bank he wants to use. Basically, some 4 or 5 banks we have here: HDFC, Kotak, SBI, and ICICI. So, how essentially you can use multiple banks, right? This you can achieve. It is actually very similar to what we have been doing so far. So, we initialized by passing ICICI Bank the same way we would initialize for multiple banks by passing their different code. net banking name. In this case, if you see, I am initializing it by passing SBI, ICICI, Kotak Bank, right? So that's why we do see multiple banks here. Now to simulate this, this is basically our demo checkout page. You need a payment session ID. You'll get one. Now you can select any bank you like. Let's suppose, yeah, it says mode not enabled. So what is mode not enabled? SBI is not active for you at the moment. You can call our customer service and get it activated. So let's see if we have Kotak Bank available or not. Yeah, so Kotak is available for us. We can click on simulate success and essentially it will do the same thing. We are back here. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is all I have to talk about.